Good morning, the Bromfels in the 35 corridor. I'm D. Lee Edwards here, the host of the Real Deal Real Estate Show. And today's special guest is Lee Porterfield with Blue Sky Mortgage. We're going to be talking about rates, options, tools, and more. But first, it's time for the Bromfels Title Market Report. Today, it's all about Hays County, and things have been cooking in Hays. Yep, sales were up a little in July with 391 homes sold in the last 30 days and 1,168 in the last 90. Still, they're slightly behind last year, but getting oh so close. Availability continues to increase in Hays with 1,522 homes on the market. 3 under 200,000. You can bet those are mobile. 67 from 200 to 300,000. 394 homes from 300 to 400,000. 303 from 400 to 500,000. And 761 homes over $500,000. Now, the rental market continues to grow in availability, just not affordability. There were 300 plus rentals on the market. To be exact, 359 rentals. That's the largest inventory in the history of Hays County, to be on. And that doesn't even count apartments. Now, of that, though, 310 are over $1,950 a month. That's why many of them are still sitting on the market. And only 49 under $1,950 a month. Mortgage rates continue to climb with the 30-year conventional in at 7.34, 15-year at 6.68, FHA 30 at 7%, and we're seeing fluctuations now almost daily where the rates can be as high as 7.5, and FHA up to about 7.08, 7.1. That's the highest since October of 2022. Now, the bond market led the charge on rates with 91-day T-bill at 5.295. The 2-year Treasury yield was at 4.967, and the 10-year Treasury was at 4.258. Now, we all thought the Fed was done with rate hikes. They've said, yeah, we think we've got it under control. Well, somebody read through their whole notes on the Fed meeting, and that's just not true. They're going to have to take a look at some of their key indicators, and a couple of them gave the hint they may hit the button one more time. Now, at least we can find out because we could get at those. But, folks, it's really affecting rents, and it's affecting builder confidence. In fact, building confidence is lagging behind the past 4 years. It just says it's all confusing. See, we had a number one month in builder new starts. That's in this last 6-month period. But when you look at it against 2 years ago, builders are lagging behind at about 60 units a month in just our area. Wow. It's confusing, like watching Congress not pay attention to what's going on and worry about who they want to impeach or who they want to arrest. Okay, oil prices remain stable through here down. West Texas Intermediate came in at 79.388. Even though demand for fuel is stable, production in the U.S. is pulling back. Worldwide, demand is still there. India is still consuming a bunch. Now, can somebody explain to me how we could be in the catbird seat in Iraq? You know, we were there, we were helping control the oil, we had things going our way, we jump up and run off, and now Russia is in control of much of the Iraqi oil. How is it we fight a war, win the day, then we pack up and leave, and then we just leave a mess? Isn't that wonderful? Russia's getting the West Kurna oil field in Iraq to pump it up and sell that oil to Lebanon. Man, just when you thought we were getting smarter. The stock market continues to pull back with the Dow at 34,766, the S&P at 4404, and the NASDAQ at 13,475. Yep, we're down, Betty down. Now, HEB has been king in Texas and has helped all of its competitors held them out. In fact, in our market, they've run several out. but there's a window. Somebody's got their nose under the tent. You would call them Trader Joe's. But that's not all. Trader Joe's is owned by Aldi. That's a German company that's been sliding into the U.S. And this week, Aldi acquires Winn-Dixie and Harvey's, taking a bigger position in the U.S. just under a different name. So, H-E-B, every time a Trader Joe's opens up, it's that competitor Aldi you ran out of Houston. They're just coming back with a different mousetrap. Now, boy, do we like new ways to express economics. That's what we'll be talking about. And, we like to put things in a neat box like recession. Yeah, but we can't have recession with full employment. We have to have high unemployment. So we use a new term called rolling recession. And then we use a recession industry. Well, we really can't say that. See, rolling recession says housing's in a bad place and it goes down, and then they come back up, and then supply chain, it goes down, like with, retail stuff, goods, and then we go to something like lumber, and it's out, and it's just not everything's in the hole at the same time. Well, that model really didn't work. So this week, Thomas Phillipson of the University of Chicago came out with a new term. Yes, he thinks we're going to have rich session, meaning that blue collar is going to be fine. They're going to keep plenty of work because we all need plumbers, but maybe we don't need as few as geeks in some of the places. So white collar is going to get laid off, and therefore the rich recession. Yeah, this is weird. We just keep trying to coin a phrase that has nothing to do with reality. So, like we talked about during the pandemic, we saved all our money. We were careful. Yep, our savings accounts went up, even though you weren't getting but about 3/4 of a point. And we reduced our credit card debt. Now, it's over, and what have we done? Credit card debt just went over $1 trillion, and you're paying 21% on your credit cards. Don't that make a lot of sense? Man. Guess who else is cutting a deal? Musk. Yep, Tesla just reduced the price on 2 of their U.S. models. I guess they need to generate some mo cash to put, more of those toys up in space. So you think we have it tough? Putin and the Russian central bank just hit 12% on their interest rates this week. I guess that war and some other things are really having an effect on them. So, what's up next? Well, some sad news. We're all saddened by the devastation in Maui. But before you go off and donate to some Facebook fund, some Twitter X tweet, you better do some research. If you're going to send help to Maui, which they need, send it to the Red Cross, just like we did here during the 98 and 2000 floods. You can know your money is getting where it needs to go if you go with established things like the Red Cross. Now, interest rates up, Hays County sales up, rental availability up, rent rates up, and not affordable. Days on market up to 61 in Hays County, and which is much better than Comel. Interest rates are up. That's bad. Bonds are up. If you save, oil's down a hair, stock market down, temperature down for the day. And hey, by Tuesday, we're supposed to be in the 90s. Get your sweaters out, okay? It's going to be cool. Yeah. Tech wars heating up with China. U.S. food market gets a shot. And we're only going to be 100 on Sunday. So I think it's pretty good. And that, my folks, is the real deal for August 19th, 2023. Now, next up, we'll be speaking with our special guest, Lee Porterfield with Blue Sky Mortgage. But first, a few words from our sponsors. You're listening to the Real Deal Real Estate Show on KGMB 1420 AM and 103.1 FM. And we're back on the Real Deal Real Estate Show, and our special guest is Lee Porterfield with Blue Sky Mortgage. Good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. It's Lee Porterfield, and I'm with Blue Sky Mortgage Company. I am happy to be here.
Well, great. Glad to have you. Now, as a reminder that this segment of our show is brought to you by Meyer Heating and Air Conditioning, keeping you comfortable all year long. So tell us a little bit about Blue Sky, would you?
Blue Sky Mortgage Company. We are a lender here in the state of Texas. Only in Texas do we do our lending. Our main office is right here north of New Braunfels on Hunter Road, right before you get to San Marcos. And we've been there since 1998. Doing mortgages in this area and all over the state, but concentrating more in the central Texas and coastal areas.
Now, as a mortgage company, are you primarily a residential lender, or do you residential and investor? What's really your forte in life?
Of course, residential would be 90% of our production. Purchase money, about 70% of that. The investors would be the investors on duplex, multifamily, and so forth. So we would do that up to 8 units.
So up to 8 units, which is now going to be what we're talking about in multifamily, or actually we used to call it 1 to 4, but there's being a shift in how it's going to go. So we're going to get to count up to 8.
That's exactly right. Cool. Everybody adjusts.
Oh, yeah. We're all excited about that. We can use one form now. So, but it's only got 20 pages with it, right? All right. So the market's gone kind of topsy-turvy, all right? We've had, the pandemic's had effect on us where, we were still selling a lot of houses. And then we kind of pulled back a little bit, but we're back to selling more. Interest rates are up. What are you seeing in the mortgage rate where, what's your best advice, I guess I would say, for people in this market, how to deal with mortgage fear?
I think the mortgage fear is a little offset, and it's scary for anybody, whether you're buying a car, or just anything, or getting a credit card. Your biggest fear is walking in and asking for a loan, and I think that puts the most fear on it, where a realtor can show you the house and you're using that as secondary. But it's not as bad as people think. It's a very simple process. It's just mathematics and qualifying with your income and debt levels and so forth. So that hasn't changed since then. I've been in the business since 98, or in another business in finance before. But I think what we're putting we've had so much, I think the thoughts have been on mortgages because they've been so doggone cheap. And people don't remember that this was only cheap for 3 or 4 years. They don't quite remember the few years before that and back into the 90s when we, average rates were at 6 and 7.
Yeah.
And that's where they were. So everybody got to the mortgages, and that's just the way it's supposed to be. So it kind of got to be where people put more thought on the mortgages instead of about the value of what they're buying. Because as you know and I know, at our ages, houses have never historically decreased in price.
No.
They've always had an appreciation. So I think that if someone is in the market, I think the foremost thought should be on what are they paying for the structure. Is it going to be a home? Is it going to be an investment or a second home? And take those 3 criteria and pick one. And then if you're in a second home, you're buying it for enjoyment. You probably have some disposable cash. You're going to use it and have fun. The interest rates are what they are, but you're going to buy the value of the house, and you're probably not going to own it for the rest of your life, even though that's your plan for a legacy, of course. But you're probably going to sell it in 5 to 7 years. So you want to buy it at a price to where you can get out of it on it. Investment properties, and that's what's driven the prices up in our areas with the inexpensive interest rates over the past 3 to 5 years. People with any kind of money or that watch a lot of TV and want to be rich and famous, they're going to buy multifamily. And that's why we go up to 8, and everybody's putting a price. And it was not about the price. It was, can I buy it and when can I have it? And loans that we did on investments, at one time we were able to do as little as 5% down on investment houses. So we found a lot of people that truly didn't have the experience or history in investments buying these properties and inflating the houses. And so, as you said earlier about the rentals and sitting on the market, we're seeing a lot of this because these people, they're onesies and twosies, and they have the investment properties. So those people with investments, I get to that. And as far as a home, when you're looking at a home, of course, you also want to buy a value. something that you could be happy and live in and pick an area that you want. So at that point, the value of the home is going to be also offset or added to with what you want there and how you're going to live there. So the price could be a little bit more instead of trying to just get it's as cheap as anything you want, because you're going to live there for more than 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
And that's a very important thing to say, or to actually know. The important thing now for people, and it always should have been, is to get comfortable in the area about how you're going to buy it. That way your mind's clear about how much you're paying for the value, to where you can take advantage of the appreciation of that property that you bought in the next 5 to 10 years, instead of worrying about just getting a loan. So get prepared, understand that there's just black and white, and you just add up your expenses and, curb them if you need to. Get ready for knowing that you've got a certain debt level that you need to reach. For the conventional FHA, government, USDA, and so forth loans, it's just a requirement. Interest rates are higher right now, but as before, when interest rates, they'll fluctuate. And everybody's got the mean of thought, and everybody thought it would happen in June this year when rates would fall back down to 5% and so forth. Well, just like an economist and weatherman, we all have predictions and thoughts, say, this is what we're going to do, but it didn't happen. And so you just deal with it. And it's, interest rates, as long as they're going to be, and I do believe they're going to stay in this, the high 6s and low 7s for the next 12 months at least. We're in an election cycle, unless the government throws some more money out there and take advantage of that, of course. But we can always adjust the interest rate or the terms or rate of your loan by refinancing, resetting your loan. But the value of your house that you're purchasing, that should be the main focus on a buyer out there.
Yeah, right now we're seeing prices reduce all the way from Georgetown to San Antonio. People go, oh, I don't see it. We're seeing prices. And I read the national news. Here's the facts. Prices are down 16% in Travis and Hays. We're down about the same in Comal, and a little bit less in Guadalupe because they've already been price conscious. So you've got some things there. So here's an opportunity. Think of it this way. If you are moving up and you were in a house that was $300,000, you're looking at a $600,000 house because your income's up, you've got good equity in the house, you bought it for $100,000, you got $200,000 in profit in the thing. Even if you sold at $20,000 less, and you went after this $600,000 and you got it for $550,000, there's a $30,000 spread that you wouldn't have got in the normal market with the low interest. So now we buy this house, we got a better position in because we bought it on the down. We're paying higher interest, but in 2025, when the rates come back into the fives, we got a 2-point swing. And so now we get into what we talk about is marry the house and date the rate.
That's a phrase a lot of people are using. It's just the valuation on what you bought and what you're really looking to be as a homeowner or an investor that owns a property. Just the value of the house in 5 to 10 years, and that's exactly what you said. And I think it's a great opportunity now. And we're seeing the market. We're seeing, of course, a lot of fixation that you'll hear first-time home buyers, and so forth. And I think that's a more of a just a saying, as you should just be a buyer and be prepared with a loan that you know that you can afford and get approved for. As far as the other people that are buying, the bigger market really and truly, and it's going to be in the next 24 months, is the boomers. Yeah. And those people are exactly what you're talking about. You can take advantage of the market right now.
Well, and you've got, too, what people, everybody was worried. They're going, oh, my God, the boomers are dying off. No, we're actually living a little longer. We got, better health, having more fun, We're still working until our 70s in many cases. And add that to the echo boom, which is bigger than the baby boom. And they're now all coming of age to buy. So Gen X, Z, and the millennials are now got enough work, enough things going on that they can start buying. So here's a little tidbit for you folks. The word is that 2025, if interest rates drop into the fives, meaning 5, 5.5, something of that nature, that 2025 will be the biggest year in real estate in history. because the floodgate will open up for several reasons. Supply chain will be back in full swing. Interest rates will be looking good for those
That's
that
right.
weren't used to it. And inventory and movement will kick back in.
It's just a great time. I think it's a great time to take advantage of the valuations. We might see another, maybe in some areas where they're overpriced. From you pick an area like Austin or some
Right.
of our more of a holiday places, Rockport, Texas, and so forth. They're still a bit overvalued. So you're going to see some adjustments still in that 10 to 12% on top of what they're doing. Seller concessions are coming into play where they're playing with the numbers. But again, the valuation of having that property and then waiting and just going ahead and pay not whatever it costs, but pay what it cost at the market rate today, and put all the savings instead of a seller contributions. If you can do it, keep that valuation of how much you paid for that house and earn your equity. And one neat thing you said though, as you get older and you're moving up, and say you're at a golden age, coming into your late 50s, say, and 60s, it's a great time when the dream of home ownership is the day you saw the dinner table where the husband rips up the mortgage and owns the house outright. And we've all worked that many years to save that equity and so forth. And nowadays, you think about it, at that age group, it's nice to be able to take advantage of the decrease in prices and get that dream home for the rest of your life. And if you do need to be financing it, remember that money, that equity you're getting out of the other house and or your savings you have, you don't want to deplete that. So do take advantage of still in the financing of part of that house, and let Social Security or such and pay for it and live it out.
Now, we're talking with Lee Porterfield of Blue Sky Mortgage. All right, so now I'm off the fence, okay? And I'm going to come to you. People should get pre-qual, shouldn't they?
I think they should get fully pre-approved. Not pre-qual, but get approved. If your lender's not asking, your loan officer hasn't asked you for documents, true documents on your income, hasn't called your employer, and truly hasn't checked and updated your file constantly, that's a full approval, and bulletproof. That way you can take advantage of, especially a market now where maybe you're able to offer less than maybe the asking price, or it's been already reduced and it's a great value. You're able to come in there and say, hey, I'm a buyer. I don't need a week to figure this out. We're done. Here's my offer. And that offer is liable to get accepted over others.
Absolutely, because if you've got an approval over a pre-qual is just looking at, I guess what they call a tri-merge, and they just take a look at it and it says, oh, yeah, your credit looks good, but we don't have the facts to go with it. What's your income, what's your job, how long you've been on it, do you pay your bills, what about this particular thing? So it's a 5,000-foot view when we really need to get down to the view right here.
That's exactly right. You get real with it.
And it does. It gives power. I tell everybody before we go to look at houses, let's have your financing in tow.
It's the proper way.
And the other thing here is, look at it. Here's what I tell people. I'm not here, and none of the lenders I deal with, like Blue Sky, they're not here to approve you. They're here to provide you with your buying power. Here's how much money you can spend. You don't want to spend that all? Great.
Don't.
But we know if we want it, and it's this price, we can get it. Is that right?
That is so much true. It gives so much power to the buyer itself. It also gives them powers to their realtor representative, and to be able to communicate that to the seller's rep or to the seller directly, saying, "Hey, this guy's a true buyer. We're not looking for anything. Look at the contract hard to understand that this will close." And that's what everybody's looking for in the selling it. Is it going to close and it's get my money? Don't
you find that a lot of potential buyers have fear? I won't get approved.
It's just something you've got to do, and you've got to find out. We have files. We had a couple today. As a matter of fact, they're not quite there yet. But you know what? We're going to be able to work with those people over the next, and believe it or not, it's not taking that long, but 3 to 6 months. And they're understanding the process even better, but they're actually better in their lives and bettering their scores, bettering their debt ratio, and they come in qualified at that time, and they're ready to go.
Sometimes it's just an issue of 2 letters, and in 30 days we've been rescored, and we're back in business because we were only off 10 points, 20 points.
And this is the deal with a professional. Don't deal with a red button or some guy walking out of a car with a notepad. Deal with a good lender that can give you those answers and give you the confidence to where you can be honest, treat and talk honestly between each other, and deal with whatever black and white situations are.
Well, and the other thing is you can get so much bad advice, right? I mean, they go, well, if you'd pay off some debt, but if you pay off the wrong debt.
You've got to take the right steps. We've all been at the dinner table, and we all have our aunts, uncles, and cousins that have always the better story. It's not always the better story. It's a truthful story, and that's the one you need to follow.
That's exactly correct.
Empower yourself and be ready to buy. I think the market is exactly what you said. I think that we're going to be coming in the next 4 or 5 years into such a market that the people that passed on buying today because, oh my gosh, rates, oh my God, the house, I'm waiting for it to go down 50%. Let me tell you what, you will be thinking about that day just like people did, that didn't buy 5 years ago. They're going to be looking at that house, and it's appreciated. And now even rates are down. You're going to be paying the same thing probably, and you're missing out on that equity for the future of your life.
The next 12 to 16 months, from everything I've been reading, says more and more opportunities to buy are going to come on the market. If you've got your pre-qual done, your pre-approval done, your money set aside, there'll be an opportunity to get a deal that you couldn't have got a year ago.
I think it's just fact. History backs it. And I think just dealing with a professional on your lending side. And I've got to tell you the other thing is if you're dealing in an area that you look at, I wouldn't trust the internet all the time that's all the houses on the market.
No.
You need to be with somebody that's local, that knows the market, because, you might get a call from them saying, hey, you wouldn't believe what's fixing to come on the market. And that's where some deals really do happen.
And what it really says is this is a time to be dealing with professionals. So, professional lender like Blue Sky Mortgage and professional realtors like D. Lee Edwards. The issue is you get better advice from people that have been doing it and understand. Look, I've been through Jimmy Carter, so y'all don't even know what 18.5% mortgage interest looks like. So we know what types of things. Now, we're out of time. Tell people how they can get a hold of Lee Porterfield and Blue Sky Mortgage.
We are Blue Sky Mortgage Company, a Texas lender. You're always able to get us at blueskymtg.com, or you can call us locally at 512-396-1121. or 888-926-1834. We've been here for many years, and we plan on being here for the good times to come.
Thank you so much. Now, Don't go away. We'll be right back on the Real Deal Real Estate Show with Lee's Hot Picks of the Week. You're listening to the Real Deal Real Estate Show on KGNB 1420 AM and 103.1 FM. And we're back on the Real Deal Real Estate Show, and it's everybody's favorite time, Lee's Hot Picks of the Week, brought to you by the amazing Bubba's Smoked Meats and Fancy Sauces. And, of course, Bubba's Backyard for your weekend entertainment. First up, 234 Paddington, offered by Daniel Francis of Stepstone Realty. This 3-bedroom, 2-bath brick and Hardy Homes offers treed lot, open floor plan, galley kitchen, tile floors in the living and wet areas. Needs a little TLC. It's a rental currently, but priced at $169.24 a foot. This home has got good space at a fair price. 1,772 square feet for $299.9. We give it 1 jalapeno. Next up, 221 St. Richie in Dripping Springs is a 3,103 square foot stone and stucco home. 5-bedroom, 3 full bath, and wood floors in the living area, fireplace, open floor plan with large kitchen, 2 bedrooms down with the primary being one of them. Bath is easily accessible to the living areas. Granite counters in the kitchen, stainless appliances, white cabinets, and loads of outdoor light. Great closet space, especially the large master bath and closet. All bedrooms have good space and closet space, and a covered back porch with a nice fenced yard. And by the way, that fencing is a little different with stone and wood. Looks really good. This is offered by Faris Rashid of Open Door Brokerage, and now the price has been reduced. Yep, improved. Out of the sixes, it's now $594,000, only $191.43 a foot. We give it 2 jalapenos. And last up, 108 Linden, offered by Dealey Edwards Realty itself, is a 2,647 square foot home, and it's done in the farmhouse style. 2-story. It's in Trace at San Marcos. Walking distance to nearby elementary, subdivision park, walkability along with location, 5 bedrooms. Built in 2021 by Braun, it features a primary bedroom down, open living space, half bath as well downstairs, laundry room, office, or playroom on the ground floor. Upstairs, you got a great media and living, 4 additional bedrooms, and a bath. The owner has done numerous upgrades, including plumbing, lighting, built a in-wall gun safe that looks like art, and a custom outdoor pergola with additional fencing to keep the pets from the people. All of this, you better get ready, for $146.96 a foot. Even the new builders can't match the price. All of that for a remarkable $389,000. It is prim, and we give it an habanero. So that's the hot deal of the week. Now, for these and other great deals, go to DealeyEdwardsRealty.com and search the entire MLS, or go to 830-620-7653. That's call us at 830-620-SOLD and speak to one of our seasoned agents like Mary Jane Wendell. Now join us next week for more great area market real estate news, finance information, national issues of impact, plus special guests like Blue Sky Mortgage to help make your living easier and better. So join us every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on the Real Deal Real Estate Show on KGMB 1420 a.m. and 103.1 FM. I'm Dealey Edwards for the Real Deal Real Estate Show saying good day, Nabrumfels, and good investing.